Hello, my name is Gary Maloney, and welcome to Sacktown Slam. And I'm here to do a review for Monday Night Raw, which was, of course, yesterday from Manchester, England, at the Manchester Arena. The same will be true of SmackDown for this week, as both for the next 2 weeks, this week and next week, will both be from Manchester. So the two Raws and two SmackDowns before Survivor Series are going to be from England. Tally-ho. Now, the show opened up with The Miz, and The Miz, and of course, Baron Corbin have been having a bit of a Twitter war. And, knowing Baron Corbin, I don't know if he knows it's real or not, because obviously it's not. Miz is like the king of pumping up shit on Twitter. And basically, Miz promised Corbin that if he talked about his wife, he'd knock his teeth down his throat. So what does Corbin do? He talks about Miz's wife, an unborn child, and, it was a lot. And then, but there was other business to attend to, which was with Kurt Angle. So Angle gets out there, he plays the shit with Stephanie saying, well, if you don't win, we're going to have to find myself a new GM, and that they'll prove that SmackDown will always be the B show, which is Angle's retort to that. Miz reminds Angle of something else and showed him the Under Siege thing, and then what happened with Daniel Bryan, and that the guy who would stop at nothing to carve out a Hall of Fame career that he's had. Miz knows that Angle systematically planned to have Daniel Bryan attacked was his thing. And then Angle decides to put Miz in a match with Braun Strowman tonight. And then Angle basically was just pissed at that point after being mocked for I don't know how long by The Miz. I think that segment was about 5 or 6 minutes. Then we go to the guitar on a pole match between Elias versus Jason Jordan. Okay. Apparently this has happened before, hardy har har. But, really what shocked me about this match was not the athleticism of Jason Jordan or Elias's push, but the end of it, which, they played hopscotch with the guitar after it was off the pole, but eventually Jordan ends up getting the advantage and tossing Elias with a big suplex. As Elias gets to his feet, Jordan smashes the guitar over Elias's back, and the ref calls for the bell. That was huge, because, boy, he hit him really hard with that guitar, and wood dust from the guitar was coming out from after he smashed it on him. There is some more to this, but I'll get to it later. Cesaro and Sheamus tell Angle that he feels like he's showing favoritism to the Shield over them. Last time the Shield was relied upon, they let everyone down. He was talking about that Under Siege moment where, the Shield was their last line of defense and they got the shit beat out of them. So he gave them one last chance to try to beat the Shield in a tag team title opportunity there tonight. Now, after that, it was Asuka versus Jobber. Jobber gets their ass kicked. Asuka wins. I'm a little concerned for Asuka right now because the rumor right now is that the SmackDown women are going to win at Survivor Series. Now, my question is, how does this work for Asuka? Because Asuka's undefeated, and the only thing marketable about Asuka is her undefeated streak. I mean, if that ends up being an issue, fans are going to have a serious backlash on Raw that following night if Asuka loses, because nobody wants to see Asuka lose right now, especially at a match like Survivor Series. SmackDown, who are they coming with? Tamina? Freaking, thank God they didn't put Lana, but it was made official that after she won, you had, "This is your captain speaking, Alicia Fox now adds Asuka to Team Raw." It's like, okay, but now you're sort of digging yourself a grave you cannot dig yourself out of if your plan is to have Team Raw lose. Because this is much, much bigger than Raw versus SmackDown here. This is talking about a woman that Triple H had a shit ton of faith in, believed that wouldn't get screwed over, and believed that, this was legit. Unfortunately, I just don't think that Vince McMahon has had any respect for any of these Japanese superstars that have walked in that are native to Japan. I mean, good God. Look at what happened to Nakamura. Look at what happened to Itami. And I swear if he does the same thing to Asuka, I'm already not a subscriber to WWE Network. Don't make me look stupid. So, you cannot ask for, Asuka to join the Women's Survivor Series team match without the implication that Asuka's going to win. Honestly, if I'm WWE and I want to make Raw look like the A show, just let the Raw men and the Raw women win this year. Who the fuck cares about these 5-on-5s? You let Raw win the 5-on-5s, and then you have SmackDown, with the exception of Brock Lesnar, win all the other title versus title matches. Again, it's even. It's 1-1. People are going to want to see The Miz get the shit beat out of him by Corbin. People are going to want to see the Usos beat the Bar because the Bar is annoying. I mean, they're funny, but I think there's more oomph behind the Usos. And obviously, Brock is going to win no matter what the fuck match he's in because he sucks Vince's cock. So, that's how he gets $1 million a year with only doing 4 or 5 matches. So, beyond that, no matter who, because Tuesday night, we all know what is going to happen with AJ versus Jinder in a WWE title match. Now, we will know after Tuesday night where the pendulum swings on that one. If Jinder loses right before they go into India, it is because the ratings are low, and it is because they are trying to have AJ be the winner. I mean, if AJ loses, then you have to question yourself, why would you have a bum be AJ Styles? So I honestly think that situation is new win there. Then you had a match between Titus O'Neil and Samoa Joe, which is supposed to be a match, but then suddenly, Samoa Joe just decided to push Apollo Crews off the stage and put Titus in a coquina clutch. He wouldn't break it, so it was a no contest. So Joe issued an open challenge to anyone in the back, and out comes Finn Balor. Joe versus Balor was a good match. And it was much better than the match, I feel, that they had inside a steel cage at, I believe it was the British, the takeover that they had, ironically enough, in London. So, and, it definitely goes to show that they can keep feuds fresh, at least with these guys from NXT. But with everyone else, it seems to be a problem. So that's something they're going to have to look at going into WrestleMania. Who is and who is not, playing to win. And honestly, if I'm WWE, get the fuck rid of Apollo Crews or put him back down in NXT. This guy's got zero fucking anything at this point. His momentum is so gone. He got a boot once. He literally had a boot put on his wheels because he was not going anywhere once he ended up on Raw. He's a terrible on-mic talent. He's very good in the ring, but ring skills are only half the equation. And if you can't do the other part of the equation, then you're not shit. Anyway, the way that Joe and Balor ended, because this match had a lot of back and forth, and it was very interesting. So, but the way this ended was, okay, there was a commercial break. Balor hits a sling blade. Balor goes for a drop kick, but Joe moves. Balor flat backs, and then Joe hits a senton for a 2 count. The two men go back and forth until Balor lands an overhead kick, and both are laid out and selling in the ring. Balor ends up setting Joe up and going for a coup de grace, but Joe moves. Joe hits Balor with a Uranagi and gets a 2 count. Joe gives a coquina clutch, but Balor counters. Balor jumps and lands both feet on Joe's chest. This did look like it hurt or may have landed badly for Joe, but I'm not entirely sure. Joe rolls outside and Balor hits an over-the-top rope flips over the top rope out onto him. They brawl their way up the aisle to the main stage, and then the ref counts them out because they couldn't tell what time it was when everybody's chanting 10. Just, but anyway, ref calls for the bell, and Joe looks at the ref with annoyance. After the match, Joe goes back and keeps beating up Balor. But Balor explodes and starts beating up Joe. They brawl back and forth as officials come to try to restore order. The two contestants are held apart. Angle comes out and tells them that their ravenous desire to tear each other apart is exactly what he needs on Team Raw for Survivor Series, and he announces that both are part of Team Raw. So, yeah, after that, you had a women's tag team match with Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Nia Jax and Alicia Fox. So, the bell sounds and Bayley starts things off with Alicia Fox. And this match, I didn't understand. Well, I understood the meaning of it going in, because, they needed, I think, 2 more spots to fill, but they only filled 1 at the end of this match, which I figured if Sasha and Bayley were to win, they would just fill the remaining 2 slots with Sasha and Bayley, which is the logical thing to do. And at this point, with 1 slot left, who are you going to fill it with? Dana Brooke? Like, really? I mean, it ain't like Summer Rae's there to fill the spot. Cough, cough. And it's not like you can fill it with Emma. So, obviously, obviously Bayley's the only one that you're going to fill it with. So, you should have just, I don't know, saved yourself some trouble. But, anyway, the match ended. Fox tries to stop Sasha, but Bayley gets a tag. Sasha comes in hot, hits Fox with double knees. Sasha then executes a flying head scissor takeover. She pins Fox, but Jax comes in and breaks up the pin. Bayley jumps on Jax's back, and Sasha helps her throw Jax out of the ring. Fox goes for a roll-up, but Sasha wraps Fox up with the bank statement and forces her to tap out. And this is an interesting little roll that Sasha pulled when she went out of the roll-up. She got Alicia on her back and then just looked like she was ready to strangle her or something right out of Daniel Bryan's playbook. So, it wasn't too bad. After the match, Fox tells Sasha that she needs her on her team. And so Sasha is chosen, but Bayley wasn't. Which, again, doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, with 1 week left to build, you would think you'd want to spend that time, maybe building the show versus show next week instead of who the fuck you're picking for your teams, which I think this week should have been hammered out pretty well. I have a feeling SmackDown's going to be interesting, because originally it was supposed to be AJ versus Rusev for that last spot in the men's team. Now they're having AJ fight Jinder Mahal for the title. I have a feeling this is because he's not healthy and he cannot do Brock Lesnar, because after all that shit talking, really that shit talking should have never been Jinder, because Jinder, in number 1, he can do as much shit talking as he wants. Nobody believes him as the modern day retardaja, Anyway, then you had Braun Strowman versus The Miz. I mean, this was a joke from the beginning. I mean, this whole thing was absolutely, just ridiculous. And just as it was getting good and we were seeing Braun Strowman being destroyed, or The Miz destroying, or The Miz getting destroyed by Braun Strowman, and, The Miz Taraj not being able to run, Kane comes out Kane tries to attack Braun Strowman, and they trade shots, so Strowman wins via DQ. I don't know what they're doing here, because the thing is that if they're trying to build something between Kane and Braun Strowman, it's not working. It's not. And Kane is a fucking old, out-of-shape bastard whose beer gut is incredibly large. Like, I don't think I've seen anyone with a gut that big other than Kevin Owens. Like, get your ass back in the fucking gym, fatty. You know, because that dude, he got issues. So, personally, though, it's like Kane, you know, lay off the Halloween candy. But personally, this did not sit well with me. I'm assuming this is what's going to lead to, you know, Strowman and Miz for the Intercontinental title. Because he's going to be like, well, if I had been interfered with by Kane, and then I'd have beaten The Miz. And even though it was a non-title match, it just sort of felt weak. And, you know, and this is another thing. Miz and the Miztourage do not feel like Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers. Do you want to know why? Because I do not believe for a minute that the Miztourage is ever going to rise to any kind of occasion for the Miz. Number two, the Singh brothers, as much as I fucking hate them and, you know, the role that they've played, the fact that they screwed so many people out of great opportunities. Honestly, Randy Orton's had plenty, but the fact that WWE booked Nakamura to win, or to lose, not just one, but two, you know, WWE title matches because of those guys. I mean, as annoyances go, they are annoying. The Miztourage is less annoying, but, you know, if you're going to be fighting a guy like Strowman, you know, kayfabe-wise, if you're the Miztourage, you're going to want to bring everything you've got. I don't know if Kane is secretly in with the Miztourage, or if Kane's just doing whatever the fuck Kane wants to do. I guess we will find that out, and what WWE is what direction WWE is putting them in later on. Anyway, then you had the Raw Tag Team Champion Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose were being interviewed backstage about their unexpected title defense. Rollins says they're going to take out the Bar tonight, and at Survivor Series they're going to take out the Usos. And yeah, so that happened. So, and then there was the match. Before that, the Cruiserweight Champion Enzo Amore moves out of the ring. Enzo hits some catchphrases, does a promo, and he bitches because he's the only one that has to defend his belt at Survivor Series. Oh, wow, I'm the Cruiserweight Champion and I got to defend my belt. You know what? You deserve to have to defend your belt because you're a shitty champion and a shitty wrestler. And no one likes you. And I will make it my personal mission to see that I bury your ass and make sure that you never wrestle again because we've lost Neville because of your sorry ass. So get out of WWE and do yourself a favor. You'll do yourself the favor of not having to have the shit beat out of you like you did on Monday. Speaking of which, he was forced since they were. So as Enzo rambles on about his promo, you know, Kalisto's music interrupts. He comes out and sits in a chair at ringside. And as Enzo's about to start bashing Kalisto, Pete Dunne's music hits, and Kurt Angle comes out and introduces him for the first time ever on Monday Night Raw, and the UK champion will fight Enzo. So, this match was very short, and basically it saw Pete Dunne beating the shit out of Enzo. Yes. Fuck Enzo. Anyway, Enzo tries to roll up Dunne, and he puts up his legs on the ropes for leverage. Kalisto notifies the ref who stops the count in time. Enzo starts yelling at Kalisto and telling him that snitches get stitches. Dunne nails Enzo with a bitter end for a 3 count, which for those that don't know what a bitter end is, it's how can I put this? Long story short, it's a suplex, and it looks really awesome. And if you don't know what it is, I suggest looking it up on YouTube, because it looks pretty awesome. Then you had the Raw Tag Team Championships with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose versus The Bar. So, this sort of was a lot of jumbled shit that happened. I mean, it was generally okay. Up to a certain point, it was a match. And Sheamus, okay. Sheamus ended up getting dirty deeds on Rollins. Sheamus got dirty deeds from Ambrose, and then Rollins followed up with a splash. Rollins pinned but Cesaro flies and broke up the pin. I have to say, this match was really good. And these two teams have excellent fucking chemistry, much in the way that New Day and the Usos had chemistry. If I were to take 4 tag teams and, put them in a match, these would be the 4. As soon as that pin got broken up, in the ring, the New Day's music hit. Everyone at ringside started looking around the arena and expected an entire SmackDown raid. That did not happen. But New Day was in the arena, and the crowd starts to stand on a set of stairs the set of stairs New Day was coming down on the crowd, just like rows, and that's how you know where these people are. Anyway, in the arena, New Day continues cutting their promo, and they tell everyone to get ready for Under Siege Part 2. Angle brings the Raw locker room out to the arena, and they all surround the ring. Angle tells the Raw stars to go out through the crowd and get the New Day. As everyone is distracted by all this commotion, Sheamus, and this was at least 4 or 5 minutes where, Sheamus and Cesaro had time to get fresh. Sheamus suddenly plunges Rollins' skull with a brogue kick and pins. The ref counts 3, and the Bar are the new tag team champions. Boy, really, there was also one of the things I was looking for in here, but it did not say the final member of Raw's team is going to be Jason Jordan. So, Team Raw is Jason Jordan, Braun Strowman, Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, and Finn Balor. I like that team. I do. So, and if they're supposed to win this year, that's a good team to win with. Um, in terms of SmackDown's team, you've got Bobby Roode, you've got you have Shinsuke Nakamura, you have I mean, what was supposed to be AJ Styles, I don't know who you're going to get to replace AJ Styles or be anywhere near the caliber of an AJ Styles. Um, I mean, they have a few spots to fill, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but. Um, but it is looking that way. Now, as far as the Survivor Series goes in the 5-on-5, you know, oh my goodness. Well, anyway, let's see. Let's see. So WWE actually issued a statement on why Sheamus and Cesaro were changed. Okay, they say that anything can happen in the WWE, and Cesaro and Sheamus just proved the old chestnut right. Thanks to a surprise appearance by the New Day that threw Raw into chaos, the two-man wrecking crew, commonly known as the Bar, dethroned Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins as tag team champions, thereby swapping themselves in for the Shield in the epic champion versus champion bout against SmackDown Live tag team champions, the Usos, on November 19th. While the upset delays a long-awaited dream match that has been brewing since the summer on Twitter, it also changes the stakes in a major way for the two teams, both of whom have now have now notched multiple reigns this year alone. For Cesaro and Sheamus on their third stint with the tag titles, a match with the Usos, fresh off trading title reigns with the New Day in a series that was an instant classic, is a chance to prove they are indeed the embodiment of excellence in WWE's tag division. Meanwhile, Jimmy and Jay, who have gone through perhaps the most radical reinvention of any team in 2017, which I don't disagree with at all, because the Usos are probably doing their best work in their entire career right now. and they've proven that they are just big fish in a smaller pond for the Blue brand. The Twins have been angling for a fight with Raw's tag team champions since WrestleMania time, and now with the opportunity at their doorstep, the pressure is on them to deliver. The Shield would have posed enough of a challenge for them to do so, but now, ironically, the only thing standing in the way of the Uso penitentiary is one near the unbreakable bar. So, It seems interesting. I would have rather seen them face the Shield. And if you're a fan, you would want them to face the Shield. I respect the Bar. I like the Bar, but I don't think that they are competing at the same level as the Usos. Fuck no. That is Shield all the way. The matches like that were what were meant for a Shield reunion. Them losing the titles could be a precursor to them breaking up the Shield. From what I heard, the Shield was supposed to be around till around WrestleMania time. Maybe taking the belts off of them right now is supposed to be what gets the ball rolling with their breakup. I don't know. But it is what it is. Let's see. Ooh. And here it is right there. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins lost their titles to the Bar last night, and it appears as though WWE is attempting to set up the Shield versus the New Day for Survivor Series instead, which makes sense. 3 versus 3. Now, who is this according to? Well, this isn't really Dave Meltzer speculated that they could be trying to turn Jason Jordan heel by turning on his own team, costing them the match. Not sure why he would do that, so that better be scripted well if that's where you're headed. Now, the Shield versus the New Day for Survivor Series instead. Roman Reigns is set to return to Raw next week in Atlanta. So they will not be in England next week. They'll be back in Atlanta. And could either replace Jordan on Team Raw or join the feud with the New Day. No. Because you already promised Jordan the spot this week on Raw. So he's not going to be replacing Jordan on Team Raw. Roman Reigns needs to be with the New Day, because New Day is going to want vengeance on, the Shield's going to want vengeance on New Day for having them lose their titles. New Day versus Shield, that's almost as epic as New Day versus Usos. If we don't get one of those two matches, I'm going to be upset. So, and that is the way that is. Gotta be honest here. I'm trying to find where we are at. Let's see. Well, it does. I cannot seem to find any. Yeah, I cannot seem to find any Survivor Series listings here at the moment. Let me see if I can get this. Type this in here. Just a second here. There we go. Okay, so thus far with Survivor Series, we have Universal Champion Brock Lesnar versus, well, Jinder Mahal right now, but we don't know that after tonight. It could be AJ Styles. We have Raw Tag Team Champ Cesaro and Sheamus versus SmackDown Champs the Usos. 5-on-5 traditional elimination matches. So, Raw's team is Jason Jordan, Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, and Finn Balor. And SmackDown's team is Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, and mystery person that we don't know of yet. I like Raw's chances here much better, but I don't know. I mean, because Shane McMahon is not exactly Kurt Angle. Then you have the women's 5-on-5 match, and this is where the problem comes in. I mean, obviously that last spot for the women is going to be Bayley. I mean, it has to be Bayley. SmackDown, I hate to say this, but when you have Tamina, Carmella, Charlotte, Becky, and Naomi going up against Sasha Banks, Asuka, Nia Jax, and Alicia Fox, and one more person, which more than likely will be Bayley. Could be Mickie James. I don't know. But could be either one of those people. I would be shocked if it wasn't Bayley. SmackDown looks very fucking weak. And to be fair, SmackDown looks very, very weak in that situation. So, let's see. You got Miz versus Corbin. Corbin all the way on that one. And, Kalisto, which, who cares? At this point, until you get rid of, Enzo, I could give two shits. This pay-per-view, though, it went, for me, from being very interesting to being really bad after last night's Raw. And even if Jinder Mahal loses the title on SmackDown, who's gonna care? Like, really? Like, AJ versus Lesnar. Do I really want to see my favorite wrestler get fed to Brock? No, I don't. So unless you're going to have AJ Styles defeat Brock Lesnar, which you damn well better, if, in a non-title situation, you damn well better have AJ Styles beating Brock Lesnar. Otherwise, you are wasting our times with a title change, at least now. I don't know what to say about the Bar versus the Usos. I mean, the Bar, they're a good team. They are. I'm not going to take anything away from them, but I wanted the Shield versus the Usos. Especially with the Usos where they are in their career and the Shield where they are in their career. WWE just recently has had a serious problem with fucking shit up with good booking. and they have done so with very poor booking. I don't know what else to say on that one. The 5-on-5 men's match, I mean, SmackDown don't look like they have well, I don't know. Say what you want about Shane. Shane is a tough son of a bitch. We saw so at Hell in a Cell. No, he technically is not a Kurt Angle. And it would be funny if Jason Jordan is the reason why Team Raw lost. Because, I'll be honest, Team SmackDown won last year. So, the assumption was that they were going to flip-flop it this year. If they suddenly decide to have SmackDown win the men's and Raw win the women's, I would not be against that. But the thing is that the threat made to Angle, I don't know if that was, veiled attempt at pushing him, or if that was like, because Mick Foley's gone. He don't do nothing. So, personally, I would rather have Raw's team win than SmackDown's team win, especially with who's in it. I mean, Nakamura doesn't... If Nakamura is the one pinned by Samoa Joe or Braun Strowman, okay. Beyond that, I could care less. I mean, I care about Nakamura here the most. Out of all 10 of these men, Nakamura is the one I am the most worried about. So, I think every single one of these men could get over a loss, but Nakamura has had 2 in a row. He needs a win. And I think that's just the way it's going to have to. And I think with Asuka on the Raw women's team, the way it's going to have to go is SmackDown men win, and SmackDown men win and Raw women win. I don't think that... I just don't think that you can have that any other way. As far as Alexa versus Natalya, Alexa's going to win. It's heel versus heel. I've noticed that about a lot of these matches. Bar versus Usos. Heel versus heel. Jinder versus Brock. Heel versus heel, which is probably why what happened if AJ wins tonight, that happens. So, the 5-on-5, I mean, I love the push for Alicia Fox, but I want to see Alicia Fox on her own. But, yeah, I mean, it's gotten to the point where, I don't know. I mean, it seems to me like the SmackDown women, they just don't have that it factor other than Charlotte. Becky's good too, but these other 3 people here, Carmella, she's better than what she was when she joined the SmackDown roster, but she sure as hell ain't no Becky or Charlotte. Naomi, again, better than what she was when she first joined the roster. She ain't no Funkadactyl anymore, but she ain't no Charlotte, she ain't no Sasha, and she ain't no freaking Nia Jax. So, then you have Corbin and Miz. 2 guys that I just kind of don't harbor any real feeling for. I'm not a huge Corbin fan, and I'm even less of a Miz fan. I think Miz, in my opinion, he leeches off the Intercontinental title. That is the only way he is popular at all, is when he has the Intercontinental title. Otherwise, he does not mean shit to the WWE Universe. As far as I am concerned, The Miz is one of those people, because there's something in wrestling that I wholeheartedly believe. It should not be the title that makes the man. It should be the man that makes the title. If you cannot get along in wrestling without a title, you don't belong in wrestling. You don't. Now, Corbin made himself relevant through God knows how many different means, whether it be good or bad, but he made himself relevant enough to hold the U.S. title. Miz, on the other hand, Miz is literally the fucking, live impersonation of Eddie Guerrero. Mr. I lie, I cheat, I steal. Because that's basically what this bastard has done through the better part of his last 4 years of his career. I mean, he is an unworthy Intercontinental Champion. Now, am I happy about the prospect of Braun Strowman getting a title? Yes. Do I think the Intercontinental title is the right one to have? No. He is a Universal title prospect and should have been given the Universal title at No Mercy, but we don't always get what we want. Braun Strowman has serious fan backing, which is something the IC title is known for, is having a big fan backing. So, maybe that works. So, yeah, and then your pre-show match is blah, I could care less about the Cruiserweight title. I really could. And they're just going to give it to Enzo anyway, as long as he's selling merchandise. So, again, who cares? So, anyway, that was your Raw review for Monday. I want to tell everyone that has had a chance to watch my review. There should be a subscribe thing up in the corner. And subscribe. Leave a thumbs up. Leave me any kind of message you want. I'm on Facebook at Sacktown Slam. I'm on Twitter at Sacktown Slam. Leave me a message. Let's get this train rolling. I am Gary Maloney, here for Sacktown Slam, and I am out.